Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Loc Goddess. Welcome back to my corner where I inspire others to dream more, live more, and become more. So we're back with another video, and before y'all ask, because I know somebody looking at me and probably like, oh my gosh, she cut her hair. I did not cut my hair, guys. This is a lock bob. I got my hair done, and this is literally my favorite style. This is just like a close-up of what it looks like. As you guys can see, they are like wrapped around each other. I still got all my hair. My loctician always does a very, very beautiful job on my hair. I don't know if y'all can see it, but yeah. So this is pretty much what it looks like. And I really love lock bobs because I feel like they give me a whole new look. My last like 4 or 5 hairstyles consistently have been my lock bob, literally since my birthday. So clearly I have never looked back. So we are not here to talk about my lock bob, y'all, even though the vibe is giving. The vibe is giving. So in today's video, we are gonna be talking about things that I wish I knew before starting locks. Just like things that I wish I knew right at like the starter lock phase before my hair actually locked up, okay? So the first thing that I wish I knew before I got my locks, and I'm sure you guys, if you've been around on my channel for a while, then I have said these things. I wish I would have started a routine early on, guys. So basically when I started my locks, I was quite young, to be honest. Me not having a routine was like honestly not even a second thought. I didn't understand the importance of misting my hair, wrapping my hair at night, all that stuff. So more than anything, I would say if you have starter locks or if you're thinking about starting locks, make sure you get into a routine early because it's gonna be a lot easier in the long run when your hair actually starts to lock up and when you start to get that length. There are gonna be certain things that it's gonna be like clockwork. For example, moisturizing your hair with like water and oil. You're not gonna allow your scalp to go longer than like a few days without putting some oil in it, without misting it with water. Just like I said in my other videos, it's important that you're misting your hair at least 1 to 2 times a day. And it's important that you're oiling your hair at least 3 to 4 times a week. At least that's what I do. Some people might feel like misting your hair daily is kind of a lot. But for me, like my hair is like a sponge, to be honest. So about no more than like 30 minutes after misting my hair, or less than 30 minutes, honestly, it's already feeling like it's kind of dry again. But the good thing is that since I'm doing it every day, my hair doesn't necessarily get the chance to dry all the way out, if that makes sense. When you think about locks, you have to remember that because locks essentially is like matted hair, to be honest. So it's super duper important that you keep it moisturized. If not, it's gonna be dry, it's gonna be brittle, you're gonna have to deal with breakage, and that's gonna be breakage from all areas, like the front of your, like your edges, the center of your head. You know how sometimes you see people who have like really long locks, but they still look full, their edges still look healthy, their scalp still looks good? Well, that's because they have a routine. So a lot of people have asked me questions on my other videos about how I basically keep my hair from like smelling like mildew or, you know, attracting buildup from, you know, misting it. And my advice is to never, like, you don't want to over mist your hair, okay? I'll be sure to link some of my helpful videos that I've done because I've talked about this before. Oiling your hair is also very, very important, okay? You want to take care of the foundation of your locks. That really kind of determines what your locks are going to look like in the long run. So as your hair starts to grow, your hair and your locks are literally just like a plant. If your soil is dry, if your soil is brittle, if your soil hasn't had water, then that means that your plants are not going to be healthy. So look at your actual locks as like a plant, and your scalp is more like the soil for that plant. You want to make sure that you're doing the right things to keep, you know, the soil of your plants moisturized. You want to keep them oiled and things like that. Okay, so the number 2 thing that I wish that I would have done before starting my locks or in the starter phase would have been to use very, very minimal products. So just like I said earlier, I started my hair at a very young age, and so I started them at a time where I feel like locks, first of all, were not popular at all. There was not as much like knowledge and education about locks as there is now. And so when I first started my hair, it was like I used a lot of different products. Sometimes I used gel. My mom used to use spritz on my hair, y'all. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but y'all remember to pump it up, like the old school spritz, like, what do you call it, holding spray, I guess? And it was so crazy because my hair used to be flaky, like there used to be so much white buildup, you know, but at the time there weren't a whole lot of lock products, to be honest. Like I think the only thing that was around back in that time was like Jamaica Mango and Lime. That was like that's like the OG lock line, I feel. Back when I started my hair though, from heavy gels to heavy black waxes, spritz, like just so many different things that would literally cause so much buildup on my hair and cause my locks to feel very heavy. And to be honest, at the time I didn't even realize it. So crazy thing is, when I first started my locks, I actually still had perm in my hair. So it was just really weird because I feel like between all of the products and the perm, my locks had like this very sleek look. But to be honest, they were like sleek from being so heavy, if that makes sense. Like basically I'm saying all of that to say, like over time, one thing that I have learned about locks is that keeping your products very, very minimal is like, that's gonna save you so much time in the long run because you don't have to necessarily necessarily worry about that buildup. You don't have to worry about doing all these detoxes all the time to try to get that product out of your hair. Also, when you sweat, you won't necessarily see that product sitting on your root. Like my loctician uses a gel, like she uses a lock gel called Lock and Gel. But when I'm doing my own hair, or for example, when my aunt used to do my hair, she literally only used to use oil and water. That's literally all she used to use. You don't want to like hold your locks down with all of that product, because again, having a whole lot of products can lead to a dirty scalp. It can lead to buildup. It can, to be honest, it can also lead to breakage, especially if it's a product that doesn't necessarily agree with your hair texture. Your hair will start to break off, and then if you're not moisturizing it, like I was saying in tip number 1, well, now your locks are gonna literally start to break off. So keep it super duper minimal when it comes to good products. My holy grail, this is like my formula when it comes to locks and product. I would say have you a good shampoo, a good oil, and a mister bottle. Those are like the main 3 things that you need. So the next point that I want to say, something that I wish that I would have done before starting my locks, I wish that I would have been able to do proper research on the different types of locking methods. And the reason that I say that is because if you guys do not know, my mother was actually the one to start my locks, and she just did the traditional finger coils. I didn't necessarily go to a professional per se, but I think it's super duper important that the person that you're allowing to do your hair, make sure that you do proper research. In your early stages, it is so important that you do your research to figure out like what methods actually work for you, and also who you're going to do your hair, because these people have to be educated on locks. To me, I feel like there's a difference between going to a loctician and a beautician. Beauticians are people who can kind of do it all, you know what I mean? But the difference is that I feel like not all beauticians know how to do locks. Y'all see what I mean? Like some people just have their own specialties. And so for me, I prefer a loctician. A loctician is someone who specializes in locks. It's super duper important that you are researching the people that you are allowing to do your hair. Like they need to be educated on locks specifically. The process of growing hair is not short. It's not something like you can't just grow hair overnight. So you want to make sure that you go to somebody who understands the importance of taking care of your locks. Not only are they styling your hair, but they're also educating you on exactly how to keep your hair up, okay? Research, and make sure that you know who is going to be doing your hair and know what methods that they specialize in when it comes to doing locks. Okay, so the next thing that I wish I would have known, or I wish I would have done before starting my locks, was that I wish I would have ignored the opinions, especially while I was in my starter phase, okay? I was very young when I started my locks, and there were so many people who had so many opinions, like take them out, they too short, they ugly, they gonna take too long to grow, you look a hot mess, you look bald headed. Kids are mean, let me just say that. Now I know some people call it the ugly phase, but not only did I go through the ugly phase, but this was also in middle school, and this was at a time where I feel like I was still finding myself. So there were definitely times where I kind of felt like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to wash this out. I just want to get braids again. Like I don't want to do this no more. For some reason, I don't know why or how, but at that age, I was mature enough to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to keep my locks. And I'm so glad that I did, because the proof is in the pudding, baby girl. That's all I'm gonna say. And that's just that on that. Period. People are going to have so many opinions about you getting locks. I think that people are very misinformed when it comes to locks. They're gonna also have so many opinions like, you're not gonna be able to wash it. Another thing about getting locks, especially when you're at the starter phase, people are going to say stuff like, well, are you sure you want those? I don't know. Is that gonna look professional? Oh, I hate that one. Locks aren't professional. Are you sure you wanna do that? Like, girl, let me tell y'all something. Sometimes people are insecure about what they can't do, and they try to put that on you. If they feel like they can't rock locks, they're gonna now try to put that on you. Well, I don't know about that, girl. You know, locks got a negative connotation. How you gonna get a job? How you gonna look professional if you have locks? Like, no, baby girl. When you're going through the starter phase, it's not gonna always be pretty, okay? Your hair gonna be sticking up. Your roots are gonna be puffy. It's gonna be a lot going on, and you have to be willing to like stick it out through that. The ugly phase, or whatever, I really don't want to call it the ugly phase, but the starter phase, you're gonna try to listen to the opinions of other people. And I feel like especially now, because there are so many like beautiful hairstyles these days, like so many different things that you can like almost kind of convince that like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do locks. Maybe I should just stick to wigs and something that's just easier. But I promise you, the beautiful thing about locks is that you can literally grow with your hair. Try to stay away from people who have negative things to say about your locks. Figure out things that you can do to like make yourself feel more confident, whether that's, okay, maybe getting new ear piercings, whether that means doing your makeup. Maybe you want to add a little bit of color to your hair, but don't go crazy with the color. I'm not really a person that believes in like wearing weaves and wigs and stuff like that over your locks, because I feel like if you do it too much, it can be more damaging than helpful. But I feel like honestly, there's nothing wrong with maybe every now and again if you want to wear like a wig or something like that. Or you can just honestly wrap it, like maybe buy some really pretty turbans or scarves or something like that and wrap your hair up. But I would say more than anything, just embrace it. Ignore the opinions of other people. People are gonna always have something to say, but then when your hair start flourishing, they're gonna be like, oh girl, you look so good with locks. You make me want to lock my hair. Like, girl. All right, so the next thing that I wish I would have done when I first started my locks, or before I got my starter locks, I wish I would have taken more pictures. Me getting locks was not a big deal for me at the age that I got them. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I wasn't thinking, oh, let me take like length pictures, or let me take pictures of me at the starter phase and then going through the different stages. I never thought about stuff like that. Like, I just have pictures from when I was younger, when I first started them. And now, honestly, I look at like other videos and, you know, pictures of people who, you know, kind of like have a lockversary, or they have pictures where they're able to like compare the length and compare the width and all that stuff. And I can't do that with my hair because I don't have as many pictures. Like, I don't have consistent pictures from like my entire childhood of when I very first started my hair. I never took any formal pictures of the different stages of my hair, nor did I really understand what the different phases were. One thing that I would say, if you are in the starter phase, make sure you take pictures of each phase. It might be kind of hard because, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, you might not necessarily like the starter phase or the ugly phase that you're in, but take pictures anyway, because I feel like it's going to help on those days where you feel like, oh my God, I want to comb my hair out. Like, you're going to be able to look back and say, I'm glad that I did it. Also, it's a good way to like keep track to make sure that you're doing the right thing to your locks. If you notice that when you start off with locks, you know, your hair looked nice and it looked silky and it looked like it was flourishing, and then later you kind of notice that your hair is starting to look dry, starting to look a little bit thinner, then that will be a time for you to reflect and think about, okay, what was I doing at that time? Like, was I, you know, using different products? Was I drinking a lot of water? Did I have a better eating pattern? So yeah, I feel like pictures essentially just really helps you kind of see where you've come from. Take pictures, you know, maybe write down like little captions on the back of the pictures, or if you have them in your phone, try to keep up with like the dates that you take the pictures. Write about how you're feeling at that time about your hair. That way you can look back and say, like, I know that I took care of my hair the proper way. So the next thing that I wish I would have known before starting my locks, I wish I would have known the importance of choosing the right size. And I'm more so talking about the width, because over time, your locks will kind of start to thin. Like, the shaft of your hair, it won't be as thick as when you first got your locks. And that's due to several reasons. When you get a lot of hairstyles and you keep them in for a long time, it causes a lot of tension on your hair and your hair will start to thin out. And then the second thing that I would say is that when your hair grows out, the length itself will kind of be pulling, if that makes sense. Not in a bad way, but like, you really want to like make sure that you're particular about the width. That's what's going to determine the size in the long run. So if you get them really small at the beginning, then you're going to have probably like thinner locks, versus if you get them really thick, then you might have slightly thick locks as they grow out. So that's one thing that I'm kind of struggling with right now, y'all, because I've been battling on whether or not I want to crochet some of my locks together just so that I can get a thicker look. Because although I do like the size of them, but I do wish that they were a little bit thicker. There are some beautiful thick locks out there, and I just be like, oh my God, like I just be looking like OMG, like I wish that I can get my hair thicker. And so, you know, it's something that I've been thinking about, but now that my hair is like so long, I know that the crochet process is gonna be real, like super duper lengthy. And so I just have to decide on whether or not that's something that I want to do. Please, if you have starter locks or right before you get locks, know what size that you're gonna get, and also know that your hair is going to, you know, kind of like your lock is gonna get slimmer over time, okay? So another thing that I wish that I would have learned before getting my starter locks, I wish that I would have learned how to do my own hair early. So I've only retwisted my hair by myself one time. In 16 years, I've only retwisted my whole head by myself once. I know that sounds kind of crazy. Some of y'all probably like, oh my God. And to be honest, number one, I feel like it would save me so much money if I really knew how to retwist my own hair. And number two, I feel like I would know my hair a lot better and I would be able to identify when something was going wrong with it. Back when I first started my hair, y'all, the reason that I got locks is because I hated getting my hair done. I hated the idea of doing anything related to hair, okay? So I didn't care about learning how to do my hair. So now I feel like it's kind of like more tough to learn how to do my hair because it's long, my arms be tired. It's just a lot. But I am teaching myself. So if y'all want to see a video on me retwisting my hair, then let me know down below, because I'm totally down to show y'all what that product would look like. But yeah, so I would say if you are getting started locks, when your hair finally does lock, get into, you know, what that would look like for you. I mean, now I know some people would prefer to just go to a loctician and let them do it, but I think in like hard times, like perfect example, okay, we just went through and we're still going through a whole pandemic. You have locticians who were completely shut down, or you had people who were just kind of scared to go out and get their hair done. And so you save money when you know how to do your own hair. Sometimes, to be honest, it's just easier. And then if you can't ever get to a loctician for whatever reason, it's not a big deal, because now you know exactly what to do. Even if it doesn't like have this sleek professional look, at least you know how to maintain your hair to the point where your new growth is like looking maintained. Y'all see what I mean? That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Whatever other hair videos that you want to see, let me know down below, guys. I'm actually really starting to enjoy doing this hair content for y'all. So yeah, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys. The goal is to hit 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I know for a fact that we can do it. So yeah, make sure you share this video with another lock diva, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.